How you doing? Ah, well, last week I was about to give another live in English, and I also talked about it that in that live, that I woke up really upside down, like they say, and I didn't really have the power for it, and I did it anyway, and that's actually good live, and for some reason, don't know why, just after the half an hour, like I said, but I didn't stop it. It just stopped, and I hoped it might save it, but it just saved the video, but doesn't let anyone see it. I will take it off. I just want to explain it beforehand. Anyway, I got annoyed by it. Of course, here I am trying to push myself, and it doesn't work. But I decided at that moment to say, you know what? Sorry for the language. Fuck it, and just went to a friend to help him with something, and said, I just keep doing what I do, and that's it. And then I woke up to say, oh, I also had the internet technician who was supposed to give me a better internet, like I said, and promise I will have, but it didn't work, and it will happen. It didn't find what needed to be connected. I have no idea what. Um, Hopefully, we'll have a better life today, and it will be better with time. And yet, I find myself again not on time. Woke up today late. Then I had a meeting with someone that the government gave me as someone who helps me push my life forward to rehabilitate. How do you call it? Whatever. Anyway, and so I find myself late to it, and I get annoyed that I'm not ready for the live on time. Blah 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 blah. And all the post trauma, all my head had a party for a minute, and then decided, wait a minute, whoa. No, I didn't decide. I actually realized that I might not be on time. Actually, I think I've never been on time ever since I started this 11 o'clock lives. It's always 11 plus. And yet, I'm doing it. Like for me to do or to start the fourth week of 2 sessions a week, 2 lives that I give and talk, for me, it's a huge breakthrough because I never did it, first of all. Never did twice a week. Um, and it's the other thing, it's because I never did it, it's much more than I did before. So when I realized it, I I looked at it again, and what helped me realize it was just to breathe for a minute and look at it. Because I said, like, what's the point of me being stressed out in order to come to a live to tell people how to live without stress? Not very much of integrity, is it? So I said, whoa, chill, chill, dude. Breathe, breathe in, breathe out, repeat. I did that for a few seconds. And then I realized what I just said, that okay, I might not be on time. That might not work like last week that I gave a whole half an hour live and it went to the garbage. And things like that happen in the beginning. And what I do when it doesn't work, when things don't work, I just keep going. Now before I go, I just like I see I just kept going a little bit too much, too long. I would like to welcome you back, or welcome you if you're first time to my YouTube channel. My name is Uriel Tamir Thaller. I am the guy who invented and published and produced the sticker "It's okay, you can breathe." The change happened by itself. You maybe saw it somewhere. It's all over the world also, although it's mainly in Hebrew in Israel. But it spread it a lot. And what I do mostly in my life with myself, mainly, obviously, and when I notice it actually works for me and also for others, so I start doing it more and more with others. I give lectures about it and one-on-one workshops, and the main idea is how to live in peace, how to live with less stress, how to live with well, calmer, happier, how to live in love instead of in fear. And what I've learned and my practice is mostly just to lower the amount of fears that trouble us. Fear is good, no problem. Yet there are fears that just sit on us and they nag us and they make us very stressed out. And when we pick one and we look at it and we do some work with it and it evaporates because that's how it works, love takes its place and then life is much more lovable. I am dealing with complex post-trauma stress disorder, CPTSD in short, for the past 30 something years, and yet I've been only diagnosed a year and a half ago, which finally explained so much for me. I have a daughter, who is almost 4, Nina, literally the love of my life. I never knew anyone can love like this, and I love to love. It's well, you probably guessed because it's my job. um, but my and yet with my daughter, as any parent will say, it's something else. Well, this YouTube channel is some kind of a blog about my life, the daily life. Living with CPTSD is not easy at all. I'm finally accepting that I can say it. I always say it like, oh, it's okay. Nope, it's not easy. It can drive you nuts every day, every night, whatever. And so this is kind of a bit my blog and about my life, and I'll share a bit my stories, which led to how I live my life, and insights and practices or whatever. Um, I started this YouTube channel actually about 7 or 8 years ago. I did a couple of lives that shot as usual, and it took me about 7 years to get back to it. Last year, someone helped me reopen it, and I started giving a couple of lives, but it was always like once every month or two. And I just had my birthday and decided before it that I really, really, really love to talk. It's one, like not one, it's like my biggest passion. I love it. I love to talk and with it and yet and everything. But it's very important for me to talk about something which is important. I can't talk about blah blah. Um, I had to know all my life that before I speak, I have something to speak about. And I built the whole method to live with my life, and now I know that I built a method to live with CPTSD, which is quite. I'm kind of scratching my head and don't know how to explain it to myself. Um, and yet with it, it's still hard. Don't get it. It's still not there yet. Not there yet. So anyway, a little bit of that was a longer introduction than I'm used to, but I just want to say a bit so for anyone who doesn't know me at all. Um, the thing is, I just said it to this guy that helps me with bureaucracy. Uh, I told him that in my experience, to do something is to live with some kind of an ocean of emotions all the time and suddenly have a break and I can do something and get back. And that's how I do things. I always, I'm always emotional, always something going on. And I used to think that I'm weak, not a man, weak, women like, feminine, whatever. And yes, I understand I'm not a macho, obviously. And with it, that's only my CPTSD. I have my manly part and I have my other part, which is very emotional, very overwhelmed sometimes. And when I get to do things, when I have these breaks, I do it. And what I said about the headline, what I do when I when it doesn't work, because a lot of times it doesn't work. Like last week when I woke up upside down and decided to do the live anyway, and it didn't work. And hopefully this one will work. And today was a bit upside down. And every live I do in Hebrew or English doesn't matter. Always comes with some kind of like not easy before. The morning before is not clean and not. So what I do is, well, when it doesn't work, I just look at it. There's nothing else to it. I observe it. I look at it. I, like I said in a live before, I just, I can just. I need to bring something a bit more important, a bit more complicated than a bottle. But even a bottle, you can look at it. The sticker from here, the sticker from there. Like, how does it work? You can learn about things. About a bottle, you can learn about it for in a second. But a kid, a small kid, will take some more time. Wait, I need to sip. What I mean about it is that when we see a problem, when we see something that doesn't work, it means that it's bigger than us. Something that is we haven't done before, we haven't met, we haven't had any relationship before, or not enough. The thing is, with any problem, with any issue, with anything we want to solve or improve or whatever, the only thing that I've noticed that I can, and which is the most important and the only important thing to do, is observe, is to literally take it into our eyes, like to pay attention to it, bring it to our attention and look at it from all sides. How does it work? Even look at your hand. Practice. You can practice your hand. It's much more complicated than my bottle. Like look at your hand. Like how does it work? All the scars, all the things. You can be reminded of stories. All kind of scars, or maybe all those lines if you understand anything about it. And the thing is that the more we know about anything, the fear of the unknown comes down because we know more, right? And when we know more, and the fear of the unknown comes down because slowly we know more about it. So if there's no fear, there must be love. The only two perspectives, the only two energies that control us: the fear of what's gonna happen, and love, whatever. And these things that happen, like with my lives, like not being on time, the one that didn't work, or any kind of how to, whatever, or I'm not clear enough yet, I'm not having any people watching it yet, whatever, all those things that don't work, it's only the beginning. It's only the, like I explained in the previous live, I'm not sure if it was in Hebrew or in English, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it in English as well, about the tap. I'll open the tap and I let the water flow. Even the worst tap on earth, the one, as long as it's connected to some kind of a system, and we always are, even a tap that hadn't been open for years, if you just let it stay open, it works. Water will start coming out, and slowly will become clear and sweet, and can drink even. So anything you start at the beginning will always have bumps, always like boom, boom, doesn't work. Oh, that doesn't work. It's like part of the deal, just part of the deal. Something that it's like the pain of birth, you want to call it. Now I'm a father, so I can. Well, I'm a father. I'm not the mother. I can't really relate with that pain. Yet I've been there. I've experienced. I'm an empath, so I can feel others' pain as well. And it's incredible how much pain the whole thing, the whole raising a kid, even so much trouble, so many issues, and yet it's the most amazing thing on the planet. I literally, and I've been through so many things in my life. I went all over the world and stuff, and did all kind of inner, outside experiences. Being a father literally beats them when it's right timing. I must say, don't go become parents before it's right for you. Because when I became a father, I was the one who was pushing it to it. I was the one who was pushing my ex like, let's do it. I wanted to be a father. Literally, I wanted it. So when you want it, go for it. When you don't feel ready, well, life will say when you're ready, and we can't really say that. So many unplanned things happen, and with it, when it happened, you're ready. Then life says you're ready. That's no for sure, because life don't give you any issue, any problem as long as you're not ready for it. It's kind of a rule. I don't know why, and thank God for it. I've noticed so many times, and I went through, like I said, many issues with myself and many experiences, outside experiences, not only workshop where you have assistants who help you and very nice and cozy. Outside experiences where I literally didn't know what to do, and only the ability to change the perspective, to look differently, and change the way I look at it, literally, I believe saved me in some places. Um, with time ago, but stories that will make me scratch my head because till today I don't understand them. It's just so I kind of lost my line of thoughts. I will get back to it. CPTSD, remember? I live with it. I'll. It's one of my problems of talking to people. I apologize. Yeah, I'll breathe. Hmm. So yeah, sometimes things don't work. Sometimes I find myself literally in places I didn't know how to work, how to make it work. And one thing I've noticed is they don't work the way we want them. So it sometimes feels like it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Why doesn't it work? Like me, I'm always kind of whipping myself less than before, but still. And it's kind of like, why doesn't it work? Why doesn't it work? Why do I have to do? What do I have to do? What do I have to do? Kind of like an inner need always to do things. That's me. That's a part of me. Not CPTC. That's Uriel. That's me. Um, and I noticed always in hindsight, and we're always smart and wise in hindsight. It's always like that. Yet I'm trying I'm bringing these insights into my life always, and remind myself as much as I can that I'll always stress myself out for nothing, like literally nothing. Like this set of lives that I started with a therapy session I had. Wow, my mouth is a bit drier. It's kind of hot here, so then got cooler than last week. A couple of sessions ago with my therapist, I said to him, I really want to talk. I don't know what stops me. And in that moment, something like said, like, wait a minute, but you can always talk online in YouTube, like inner voice. And I just, paid attention to it and went on with my therapy. And then decided, just said, you know what? Just open your mouth, open the tap, let it work as is. And that's the thing. That's the thing that I've noticed, that so many of us, and me included, like I just said, I include myself in it. We stop ourselves from doing what we want because we believe it's supposed to be in a specific way. Like I want to talk to people, to millions of people, and always dreamed of standing stages all over the world. It's my childhood dream and always had been. I couldn't let it go even when I tried. And yet now I find myself with CPTSD from groups of people. I mean, come on, this is my, being bullied from kids and thinking like me doing that. Wow, that's so far away. But I really want to do it. So I said like, okay, you're turning 41 now. Do it as is. Open the tab. And what I will, you can I invite you. Like I always have a problem to invite people because if you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't. If you don't, if it's not the right thing for you right now, let it go. And with that, I would like to maybe invite you to look at something that doesn't work. It might be that you don't have the strength to do things. Like me at present time, I literally out of strength, out of power. On fuel, how do you call it? At the end of edge of my fuel, and I'm kind of looking at my life and say, "Where's my power? Where's my energy?" And I'm like, out. Okay, part of my CPTSD. So yes, we all have those part. I have the excuse, some kind of a reason for it, and but each one of us has his own reason. It doesn't have to be a permanent one. It doesn't have to be something that you're going through right now. Whatever it is, if you don't have the power, you don't have the energy, you want to change that, it doesn't work. That's okay too. Or if you have the power and you've gone full energy and something is just in your way, well, the first thing I do in these situations, like I said before in my life, I literally stop. I literally stop everything, all my thoughts, as much as I can. Of course, the thoughts go on, but I just like say, "Whoop, enough!" Like you go on. How do you call it? Put the volume down, and I feel my emotions. You can't stop them because it's energy in motion. So I just feel where I am, and in short, I meditate on it for a few seconds. It doesn't have to be. I did it while being next to the sink before, doing a couple of dishes. I'm not sure what I did before, but you can do it anytime, anywhere. You can practice meditation any way you want, and with that, the idea is to, when you see something that troubles you, that causes you stress, remember, stress is optional. It's not mandatory. Stress is optional. If you remember that from everything I say, Jesus, I did my thing. I'm Jew. It's kind of part of my language. I'm sorry. Um, it's stress is so optional. It's if I could bring that, I bring it to myself as much as I can because my CPTSD always brings that stress and things to do and things to do and things to do. Like, nah, enough. And my work is to lower them down, and to be with myself. Because the moment we are with ourselves, the moment we stop, breathe, tell the thoughts you can play, as kids, go play, leave us alone for a minute, and I see where I am. What is it? What troubles me? Like before, I understood that it troubles me that I'm not on time, that I'm still a bit stressed after the meeting I had, and I didn't wake up on time, and my morning was a bit upside down. And I said, like, oh, God, the hell with it. Sorry, I'm trying to pick my language. The hell with it. Just really, this is me. I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it to do it. I'm doing it. It's much more than before. So try, not try, pick something that troubles you and work on your perspective. Look at it for a minute with curiosity. Use it. It's your like you're born with the best ability on earth, one of the best. Curiosity. Ask questions. Look at it. Wonder about it. Some of them, some of the things that trouble you right now, and really trouble you sometimes, can be solved like popping up a balloon. Poof, gone like that. Some of them will take longer. But think how much energy you'll get from the things that you solve in the next couple of months. And all you have to do is pick them up and look at them. That's it. It's funny that one of my best friends today, for the past 4 years, I met him 4 years ago when I came to this village, and he arrived to this village where I live 3 days after me. Funny thing, kind of like a comedic date. And we became really, really good friends. For me, he's one of my mentors. Um, and he also has CPTSD, and he is the only one I ever talked to that literally solve, solves things in his life in the same way I do. Although we have different energy, I'm much more active energy. Is much more, I wouldn't say passive energy because it's totally not that passive, um, but it's a more calmer energy, and I'm more like, and with this, we both, when we meet a problem, we sit with it. We literally sit in it. We let ourselves sink in into the depth of it, and let it. I would say, for my own words from now, because I didn't have that many words from him, but from my experience, it's kind of like to let it completely cover me, and to let it really almost absorb me, because, and it's, I can understand why it's so scary. It scares the hell out of me every time I do it, because always kind of letting the unknown completely cover me. Yet I noticed that when I let myself meet the unknown, and the more capable, then the more it is, the more the fear of the unknown, the more of the fear of who that is that I'm so scared of myself, that I don't know, that part of myself that I'm still not sure about. It might be any kind of area in your life. So when we move into it, into financial, into career, into relationship, into anything, at the beginning we meet darkness, because it's like walking into a completely dark and empty room that we never been into. Empty because we think it's empty, we don't know. It's completely dark. We open a room, nobody opened the light for years, so it's completely dark. So at the beginning it's going to be completely overwhelming and completely like, yeah, close the door. Understood. That's why I do it slowly. Slowly, bit by bit. Wait, wow, my mouth today is really dry. Interesting. Always, you see, I don't know why, I just wonder. Cold water. Yummy. Best. Where was I? So, walk into a completely open, like dark room might be sounds scary. Yet the idea is that when we meet the unknown, bit by bit, I do it in the exercise, small changes or little changes. It's my first exercise. and the one and only, well, the one and only I'm using all four of them all the time, is the first one that started everything, all my method and everything I do. And it's called Little Changes. I'll give it a couple words now. I didn't think of talking about it, but I'll just give it a couple words. Um, it actually fits to the to the headline because this is exactly what I do when things don't work. I start doing little changes. So little changes means to let our mind. The problem is, okay, let's define the problem. Our mind, thinking, the part we always have so much, put so much stability on, count on. We count on our mind so much to think, to know, to teach, to explain things, to find things. And the problem with our mind, it's the mind is a perfect thing. It's my best tool, my best friend ever. Sorry. Um, Yet the problem with it is that it has a huge, huge, huge problem with the unknown because it doesn't know what to do. Well, just listen to the language. It doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know. Unknown. It's unknown to it what to do. Because if it would be known, like for me, something unknown, like in the computer, for someone else is dead obvious. You can do it with a coffee in the morning, right? So unknown for our mind is scary, no matter where we are, because for our mind it is scary, not for us. Pay attention. Our mind is like doesn't know what to do, doesn't know what to do, and it gets stressed, and that's why we feel it. Oh my God, what to do, what to do, what to do? Well, it doesn't work. Ta, 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 ta. Whoop, back up. Wait, I have to let my leg go a bit. So, because I have this problem with huge changes, my mind gets frozen. So I found this little tiny fun exercise. First of all, really fun because I can do it all the time. I get to do it whenever I want. I get to do it wherever I want. I get to do it with people around me or alone. I can do it in the morning, evening, noon, night, whenever. And the idea is very simple: is to create the tiny little change in our daily life. I'll explain in a minute. I'm just going to repeat it again. The idea is to create a tiny little, tiny, really tiny change that wouldn't create any effect, like on that moment. Nothing. It will create no effect whatsoever at that moment, except the change. And I give an example first of all, and then I go and what it actually does. Examples are, well, I always explain with my first exercise. The first time I did it, and it happened just like that. It just happened, and then it went on. And the first exercise came from a kind of weird fear. When I was 12, it came, from my CPTSD. I didn't know back then, but I had a crazy little fear of what might happen if there would be no sugar in the world. I was crazy for sweetness. I was 12, and I had a huge sweet tooth. Um, and I got really scared, although it was ridiculous. And I immediately went and I started, you know, because I said, like, okay, I have to, you know, get ready. If there is a possibility there wouldn't be any sugar in the world, I have to be prepared. And this is me. Today I know it's complete symptom of CPTSD because we are always prepared. Always. We come to a point where always pay attention to our surrounding, to pay attention to everything, to be prepared for everything as much as we can, obviously. And I immediately went I was next to my sister room. I was outside. I went inside. I made myself tea, a cup of tea, with teaspoons of sugar instead of three. I have to drink. I don't know what happened today. Now that might sound like okay. What's the big deal, right? So you drop from three sugars to two. Great. Yes, exactly. That's the point. My point, a little changes, is that your mind will say, How the hell can that help in anything? I want your mind to be completely numb about it, completely with full acceptance to it, because it won't have any problem with it. Okay, so you drop from three sugars to two. You change, I can give you more examples with just this section of tea, sugar, coffee. First of all, I have types of coffees in my house here. Two blacks, two instant, and two, I call it funny coffees because there's no caffeine, no decaf. It's some kind of herbal coffee, and there's always two from each, and I always have to have them because I want to change, and I always have to change like this. It's a little thing I always do with myself. So the variety you can always do, but even more simple. How do you steer your coffee, right or left, or tea, whatever you drink? How do you steer it? There's always a pattern for any one of us. Pay attention to it. Now, from here, I would like to go to how the hell can this little thing work for us? Well, like you said, uh, if you notice just now, when we start changing things, we start paying attention in order to change, right? If I want to change something small, I have to pay attention to what I do in order to create a tiny little change. And when we pay attention, things start changing. First of all, when we pay attention, one, we become stronger in it. Our strengths in our attention become stronger. That's in itself one of the biggest tool you can improve and thank God for having by itself. Any uh, therapist, any workshop, I've been to quite a few in the past 30 years. My first therapist was when I was 10. I kind of changed four or five of them by the time I was 12, and I've seen quite a few since. My first workshop I participated in was 20 years ago. When I was 20, it was Vipassana, quite funny for a guy who likes to talk to go into 10 days of silence. But it worked. It was an amazing workshop. And I went on, and I can literally say with all my heart, the only thing that everyone will say, any method, any no way of no matter how they bring it, they will come to the point of paying attention. Pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to your emotions, pay attention to your patterns, pay attention to your beliefs, pay attention to your body, pay attention to your sweat, pay attention to your whatever. It's always paying attention. Because when we pay attention, and this is actually scientifically proven by now, what the belief do we know? If you want to see it, if you haven't watched it, go for it. I know it's long. I know it's kind of not always interesting for a bit more documentary thing. If you want to understand it scientifically, what the belief do we know? Explain it amazingly, and point it out exactly the where it explains it. It's where it says that the proton, if I remember, I'm bad scientifically in that language. I think it was the proton that when the awareness pays attention to it, it suddenly changes by itself because of the awareness. The awareness, our paying attention, brings the awareness to the problem, and that literally, metaphysically, changes things. And when we do little changes, whenever we want. I do it all the time because I literally know it's the best thing to do all the time for me. For me, it's I will say kind of a disclaimer. I have to drink again. I don't know what's going on today. I haven't been this dry mouth for a long time. Um, a little disclaimer. I don't know if it's a disclaimer or some kind of a warning. Something to pay attention to as well. Making or doing this exercise literally speeds speeds things up. Uh, it's kind of it sounds like a funny joke. It sounds kind of like a magic trick. It's not. It's just the exercise itself changes the whole perspective in our mind, because our mind was used to know, you know, what we know, what we plan, what we believe, what we have, everything order. And the thing is, life is never like that, because we can have plans from here till whenever things change. There's a traffic jam, boom, you're late. The other side doesn't like you as much as you like him, boom, you broke up. You know, change. It's hard, yes, it's painful, it's scary, it's everything, but it is as it is. Change happens all the time. And when I do this little change, what the thing does, it's I put my set of mind into the energy of change. And when my mind, that's my practice for the past 30 years, is so used to that energy, so used to this, like, yeah, because this is like, this is the energy. When you get into the change, when you get into this curiosity and like, yeah, let's do things. Wow, it's like a magic show, guys. It's a magic show. If you're scared of change, do them tiny, 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 and don't be scared about it. Well, no, that's a bad sentence. If I say don't be scared about it, you're immediately going to be scared about it. Thing to explain about this exercise for those who might be scared about it. This is what I've noticed. This is what I've been paying attention to and learning about it. Our mind, each one of us has a capability of change. There's no good or bad or anything like that. It's just as it is. Some are better in the career and worse in relationship, in the intimate relationship. Some people are better in relationship and they suck in being a parent. And it's not, again, not judgmental. It's just that's the way it is. If you feel about yourself, that's exactly how you feel about yourself. I'm not saying anything about anyone else. I know for myself, I know how to push myself, in the business. Like, I still don't know how to make it financial, good thing. I know how to be there for my kid. I still don't know how to be with her 100% of the time perfect. I know how to create a relationship. I don't know how to keep one. I'm working on them. All what I said, I'm working all those. But what I managed before is what I have. So again, I go back to the little changes. The capability of each one of us for a change for any area in our life is set for what it is in our mind. We can't really control it. It is as it is. What we can do by meeting little changes all the time, our mind is slowly getting to know change. It's like a vaccine. The body knows the little things. Oh, we know them, and we know what to do. They don't kill now the change. They know how to react to change. The mind, all the body, all the patterns, all the belief. I used to be scared to death, literally scared to death from change. Death, like frozen. Today, I can't not have a change in my life. I can't. I always have to. I have like 5 processes open, minimum, all the time. I kind of lowered them. It used to be 15. And what I'm saying, what little changes, if it worries you, and I can understand, because the word change reminds us of unknown. If you're scared of the unknown, you immediately, duh, I don't want that. It's understandable completely. So what I can say as something to maybe help you calm down is that I noticed our mind is will react to this exercise as it can. So if you don't know what to do in the relationship, like didn't know what to do in the relationship 6 months before the breakup. I didn't know what to do to stay, not to just to stay, like this annoying, crazy, endless thoughts. And I just said, okay, what do I know? What, like how to change things? I just started doing these little changes. Now the breakup came 6 months later, so it's not like I immediately changed. The mind slowly start changing, and like it's like starting an engine, like vroom, 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 vroom. And then when you're ready, you put the gear, the first gear. You don't put fifth gear, right? You put the first gear, and you start slowly moving into that direction with this engine. The little changes is like starting the engine. If you want change to change anything in your life, well, this is my experience. Of course, it's not like you must do or something like that. Don't Please don't take that as that like that. I hate that. Um, Life will guide you much better than me. The little changes just helps our little scared, sweet mind to cope with change because it meets it with the exercise. So it slowly lowers the fear of change, of fear of the unknown. That's exactly what I started before, because when we meet it, and we meet it all the time, no matter what we do, no matter how good we are in any area, we always meet something we don't know, right? Because well, my belief is that our spirit wants to grow, our soul wants to experience something. What is that? What was that? I hope not a bee. Hope so. Oh, by the way, I used to be scared to death from bees. Yikes! I wouldn't be able to be in the same room with the one. Well, now it's kind of like my body kind of tingling. I don't know if she's well. If she would, if it was her, she would come back. Okay, let's get back to it. So, fear of the unknown. It's not our fear. That is something that I started to say before. It's not our fear. It's our mind fear, and it's something which is very important to understand, because when we want to solve it and we stay in it in our mind, we immediately stay in that consciousness. Something like we just want to solve, we just want to solve it, but we just keep looking at it again and again and again. But we stay in it. We get sank in. Is that a way? Yeah. Instead of just stepping out of it. No, it's no easy doing when you start, and it's obviously easier said than done. It's a practice, and the practice is to stay out of it, to take a step back. Every one of us, me included, we have our busy mind. Average 60 to 70 thoughts a day for an average person. 60 and 70 different results, different exercise, different scientists, whatever. Um, so the average of it is 65, and I already calculated before. The average pretty much is a thoughts per second, 0.321. Well, 1.321 seconds for a thought. So every one of us like all the time. So we have nothing to do about it. It's like going into a very busy, loud factory and say, "Calm down, stop the engines." Like, but it has to work. It has to produce. If what do you want to, if you want peace and quiet, you walk away of the factory, right? You step away of the door and you just walk as far as you can, so the noise is far, and suddenly we have, yeah. Sometimes it's just no. It's an exercise. The jump. Like, no, no. It's an exercise. I do it all the time. It's a practice. And I practice it all the time because of my CPTSD. And this is why I need off of my hand. This is enough. This is why I now am grateful for my CPTSD, because I wouldn't. Well, I'm sure there are reasons to come to this point, but the CPTSD bombarded me until today. Bombers me with emotions. So it taught me to deal with emotions in a daily life, no matter how extreme they can be, and they can very be extremely extreme out of the blue, literally. It taught me how to live with changes. It had made me look for a way to live with them. It didn't teach me, but made me do it because I want to live, and I had to do it. So today I'm living with two biggest unknowns, which are changes and emotions. I won't say perfectly fine. Come on, dude. Guys, um, I'm human. I'm CPTSD diagnosis, and yeah, it's not easy all the time at all. Oh, my leg is all. This one also needs a break. Um, like what I, yeah, like what I said a few times to a couple of friends of mine that know me in the past years, in the past couple of years, and not before. And I tell them, look, you're seeing now just the steams of the volcano that used to erupt daily, because I used to explode. I wouldn't be able to control myself at all. And burned so many bridges because of it, burned so many relationships. And this is one of the reasons I appreciate my and love my family so much, because they still there and they still support me no matter what. Most family will kick me out of their life ages ago, and so it brought me the it made me, sorry, my legs a bit, it made me look for another way. And when I was 12, it just happened. I didn't really look for it, and then I started looking when I was 16 and a half, but it was already started when I was 12, the basic. It's only later that I kind of like, oh, it's connected, interesting, way later. um, and the thing is, what I've learned about myself, and it's always a practice, and it's so important for me to say it so nobody will think that I'm like kind of living nowhere in La La Land. No, I don't. Yet I am heading there, and I am heading what I feel like at least into living more permanently there. My biggest dream is to be that door for anyone who had enough of living in fear to move to love. I know it might sound spiritual shit, but it's true. And I think people will acknowledge it with time more and more. It's not a mandatory to be in fear, to be in stress. It's not. I used to completely believe I have to be stressed out all the time. And 12 years ago, or 13 years ago already, yes, 13 years ago, I already understood it, and yet still the stress is kind of like a habit. It's really a habit. It keeps coming, and I keep like saying, "Hey, it's okay. You can breathe. Change happens by itself. Remember, everything's fine. Chill out." My only job now in my life, when I say like what to do, well, do you love it? If yes, good. If no, learn, learn to love it. That's all. That's what I've learned. That's the only thing that I can decide in my life to control. The only thing that I have control of is my perspective. I can't control about anything around me. I can't people, situations, stuff. I can't control my thoughts. Like I said, 65, like a thought per second. Anyway, the emotions come on. No way of controlling them. You can try. Good luck. Maybe for a short time you can. I tried for a really long time. It's always kind of like bam crashes down. So I decided to stop controlling them. Just let them flow. It's like to control the the emotions. It's like putting a huge dam, huge dam to control the river. And anyone knows that in order to control the flow, you have to let small flow in the bottom, to let it run. Well, it has to be the flow of the river, otherwise the river will overflow. So we're just creating a huge point of emotions, huge corner, huge spot of emotions. And what happens when suddenly something cracks the dam? Something suddenly cracks the belief that you held in order to hold that. Boom! Huge flow of emotions, like a huge river coming down on you. And it's possible to go through with it. It's just really hard sometimes, unless you're really experienced. And there are ways. I will probably share a few in the lives. Best way, not to let it happen. Let the river flow, let the emotions flow. When you have an emotion, feel it, let it go. And if you can't feel it, you say, okay, feel emotion, dear anger, dear something. I'm busy now. Come back later. But yet stay. Well, I stay. I will say by myself. I stay devoted in order to the feeling because I know I should. I should feel it now instead of later because it only um, sums up. It only grows and grows and grows and grows. And from what I've learned, what I learned, read, heard, l- learned about myself as well, and from others, is that most of our physical problems, which can be uh, traffic accidents or anything like that, or disease or anything like that, and that's been proven by many scientists, it's got a huge connection, huge, huge connection. Um, and when I let the emotion flow and not build it up inside of me, I feel better. Just that's it. Just I feel better because when we accumulate the emotion, it means that we are scared. We don't know what to do with it. So we kind of like, I don't want to be angry. I used to be really angry. I still have it, but like I said, steams. So I used to be really angry. Like, oh, no, I don't want people to get scared from me. I don't want people to get scared from me. I used to be like that. But what would happen? Click, 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 boom, and I would explode. And people that saw that wouldn't want to see me again. My family suffered a lot from it. And because of it, in the past decade or so, or maybe less, but especially since I became a father, the issue with my anger is my biggest issue that I'm dealing with. The biggest root that I'm working on, the pain behind it. And I know it's not anger, it's the pain behind it. And past 2 years, I did a lot of work before that also. And hopefully, we'll see the results soon. Uh, I, I'm at the end of the process, so I can't really say when it will happen. So, what can one do when we're stuck, when it doesn't work? Like I said, observation. And for those who are active like me and have to do something all the time, and what do you mean observation? Just to sit and watch it? Well, no. You have something like I said before called curiosity. Um, I don't know why anyone said curiosity killed the cat because it saved my life. It's not a joke. It might be I'm dreaming to make some kind of a children book that will change that stupid belief because curiosity saved my life many times and it gives you active. It makes you active. It gives you energy. Even if you start by asking, so what can I do now? What can I do now? You can start what need to be done. You can say, okay, what has to be done, and what can I do now? And when you do that little thing, you suddenly active. And that little thing, you never know what will happen. Even if I need to go to grocery store, which I am, and I have no idea who will I meet, what will happen, how will I react, ta 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 ta. Many things are completely open. So what I mean is we never know when we do that little step, which feels just like what will that help? So do the thing that will help you. Tiny little thing, immediate help, and slowly, slowly it builds up. When we see we can, when we see it's okay, when our mind sees it's okay. Anyway, 1 hour is enough for one day for me. Um, and I don't want to bore you to death if you ever look at it. Yes, self-esteem is something also to let it out, let it out, let it out. So if anything doesn't work for you, have 3 words to say. No, two actually. Keep going. That's it. Keep going as much as you can. You keep going. If you can't, keep lying in bed. Keep breathing. Even staying alive. Even I'm talking now to the point to the people who are in the lowers of depths because I know exactly what it means to be like that. If you're there, breathing connects us to the activeness of our being, to the activeness of our life, because we can't live without breathing. And it calms us down and it helps us focus and helps us listen to ourselves because it's, you know, shushes all the thoughts, all the blah, blah, blah. And all we have to do is, and anyone can do that. It's a must. Just if you can't be active, join your activeness. Just join it. Okay, that's enough. Thank you very much for being here. Sorry. Um, come on. Thank you very much for being here. I would like to say, well, first of all, a couple of technical things I have to remind myself. If you want to keep getting these things, these lives to your email to like have some kind of a reminder from YouTube, well, become subscribe and make it as see first or something like that in English. So YouTube will let you know if you missed it. With time, hopefully at least, the lives will be more set in time. You will be able to also get a reminder ahead of time when I'm coming up on live. My CPTSD is quite a challenge in it because I'm always changing. I'm always, well, I just to explain, I think enough for now. Um, so hopefully you'll stay patient. I'm doing my best to bring what I've learned about life, about myself, through my experiences. Um, and yet, because I was pretty much in silence most of my life, um, this part is still new. this and this is why I do these lives to open it up. Hopefully soon. We'll see. But hopefully again, it's a mind. Hopefully it will happen soon. Blah blah blah. Yeah, that's a fear thought. whenever. I'm enjoying talking to you anyway. It's actually giving me good energy. So I'm going back to my music and to eat something and do my thing in my life. And I wish you'd have a great week. Very, very, very great week. Monday, lucky Monday. Make that. Monday, lucky Monday. And see you next week. 11-ish. Ciao, amigos. Bye bye.